sang this song to me. There was a message in its melody, sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. He said, tomorrow is another day, but living is the only way that tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be.
Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration. My name is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor, and I'm your host for today's show. I get a lot of questions from small business owners regarding marketing their small business. And in today's market, there is so many things required. And if you are what I call a solopreneur, it is difficult for you to do all of those things all by yourself. Today, I want to help you with some tips and some information and a little bit of advice that will help you market your business. And we're going to talk about tips and examples that you can do for under $100. Now, before you say it can't be done, I want you to give me an opportunity to discuss some of these things and tell you that it really can be done. And if you have questions when you're watching this show, you can send me a text, you can send an email. If you send an email, I'll promise I will respond to you specifically to the question that you ask about items that you can use and products that you can use. So let's get started. Now, I too am a small business owner, and I use a lot of these techniques. Now, you don't have to use all of these techniques because we're going to talk about a lot during the next hour or so, but I want you to pick 3 to 5 that you can start to use today. See, the key is not the techniques. The key is getting started. Now, if you're in a place where you feel like, oh my God, I just want to quit, I read a quote that was great for that. The quote says, I could quit now, but eventually I would be back in the same place I started. And then that place is when I desperately, desperately wanted to be in the place that I'm in now. So you wanted to be here. You've done the work to be at these crossroads. So now let's just roll up our sleeves and let's just get to work. The first thing you need is a website. People have got to be able to find you. And where do people look for everything? On the internet. Doesn't matter which internet browser they use, whether it's Internet Explorer, Google, Firefox, Mozilla, and there are even more. And depending upon what kind of user you are, generally depends upon what website you use. So the object is to get a website, and then of course you've got to optimize your search engine results on that website, on the internet for that website. So how do I get a website? There are a lot of free website options out there. And since we only have $100, we're going to talk a lot about free things because we don't want to spend all of our money on things like websites and hostings and stuff like that. But you can get a lot of free website templates on the website. A few that you probably already know about are Tumblr, WordPress. But if you go into that handy search engine and search, you will find them. So you get a template and you need 4 pages. It doesn't have to be a large website, just 4 pages. So you can have an About Us page, a What We Do page, products and tools page, and maybe a Contact Us page. But the key to all of that is you've got to have what I call an opt-in page. Some people call it a squeeze page because when they come to your website, they see this box where you can sign up to receive emails from you, and they can't move forward unless they put their email address and their name in there. Now, I'm a little gentler with that because I do allow them to X out of that box so they can come to the website and see all of the things that they want to see on that website. So you can have that option too. But that's for starters. So now, you've got a free website template. You can start with putting up images, writing text about what it is that you do. I would suggest that you go out and look at the websites of other people who are in a similar business and see how their websites look, and then maybe use that to get ideas. That's part number one. Now you got to have a place to host it, because now you got it, how do people find it? You can find search engines or domain hosting services that will host your website for as little as $4 a month, $6 a month, $9 or $10 a month. Depending on how big your website is, there are some who will host it for just $2 or $3 a month. And guess what? A lot of them always have sales too. So they have that special. Buy a year, pay in advance, and you'll get a year free. So take advantage of that if you can. So let's say you're going to set aside $12 a year for that. Now, you've got your website. You're going to upload your files. If you use one of those easy templates, you can do it yourself. If not, then you may have to have a web designer, but that's not necessary at the very beginning. So, okay, so we've spent $12, got a website. Now, when you have this website, you do need to choose a catchy name, a name that would be interesting, a name that will let people know what you actually do for a living. So if it was wildhorses.com, and that's just an example, then you would need to talk about horses or animals or something. So you want to keep it related to what you do, so when people see it, they have an idea of that they should click on it and why they should click on it. That's another thing. So if you're not doing wild horses or animals, don't name it wild horses, but find something that's catchy, something that shows who you are, something that will speak to the experience that the person will have when they begin to work with you. So we've got a domain, we've got a hosting company, you've got an idea for a name for the actual website. On your Contact Us page, people need to be able to see you as a real person. So you don't want your home address there if you can avoid that, because you don't want a gazillion people coming up to your front door, knocking on your front door, or driving by, stalking you to see how you live. So you want to get an address, and you can get an address through the post office box, UPS boxes. You can get virtual addresses. You can get addresses. So find a way to get address so people can send you mail. People sometimes like to write to you and tell you just how wonderful you are. And you will need a phone number. Now, you can get a phone number practically free through the phone jack people. You can get a mobile phone and use that number. But if you do use a mobile phone number, I suggest that it's the number that you use for business solely, because we tend to have a business persona and we have a personal persona. So if you typically answer the phone 99% of the time and say, hey, what's up? You wouldn't want to do that on your business line. You want to be a bit more professional, so you would need another phone number for your business line so that you would know that someone is calling you regarding your business and regarding what you do. Now, if you've got a business where, hey, what's up works, then that's okay. But some businesses, hey, what's up, wouldn't work. Or what's happening, my man, that may not work. If it doesn't work, then you'll need a separate telephone. So now that we've covered the basic website, now, how do you get people to find you? Because websites in itself aren't magic. The website doesn't do anything to cause people to say, hi, come here and look at the Champagne Connection website. You do that. You do what you need to drive people to your website. So how do you do that? Now you need to collect email addresses. There are several ways of collecting email addresses. You can have a web form on your website that will collect your email addresses. You can have a paper form, so if you're out speaking to people, or if you're out selling merchandise to people, or if you're at an event, or you do a workshop, be sure you have a sign-up form so that people can sign up to receive email communications with you. You do have to have their permission before you can send them email, and that's one good way to do that. So my form has a place for their name, address, phone number, email address, and a box that they have to check, and fill their name in that's certified that I have permission to send them email, and it's dated. So you do have to have that. So now you've got all these email addresses and you're thinking, well, how can I send them email? Because you can only send email to about 50 people on your typical email accounts like Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail, and those accounts. So you're going to need an email client. Now, if you bought that hosting service, the hosting services come with a certain number of free email. The majority of them come with at least 10 free email addresses. Some of them actually come with 20, and now in today's competitive market, some actually give you unlimited free email. So you're going to create an email address for you at whatever your domain name is. And domains used to be .com, but you can have .biz, .net, .org. There is a lot of them. Generally, .org signals that it's a 501c3 or nonprofit organization, but you have your choice now. There are at least 20 extensions out there. People are most familiar with .com, but a lot of the other extensions are actually rising to popularity too. So now you've got an email address. So with the email addresses and the email, you're going to protect those because that is your marketing strategy. So now we need a place to actually build the email in so we can send it to all of these people. And there are free places which you could use. MailChimp is a very popular one where you can use up to 2,000, I believe it's 2,000 email accounts and send a certain number of email a month. Constant Contact also has a free option. iPage has a free option. If you go and search out free email accounts, you'll be surprised at what you find. And that way you'll load all of your email addresses in that account. You will create your first email, which should be a welcome email, thanking them for signing up for your newsletters and your blogs. And then you will literally push the send button and it will be delivered to all of those boxes individually as if you sent that email personally. The wonderful thing about using one of those email clients is you can schedule emails in advance. So let's say you have a very busy schedule and you have an email you need to send and you want to send it to everybody, or you can even segment the list too. So let's say half of your people only want to know about this, but the other half wants to know about section 2. So then you can say, okay, well, my section 1 people are for this and my section 2 people are for this product or for this information. And that way you can segment the emails and not everyone gets an email, and especially the people who don't want that particular product, you don't have to send them an email about that. But you can actually schedule those emails. So you can schedule them for specific dates, specific times. So you can actually take time once a month, do your email campaign, get it scheduled, and then the email clients will send those emails out according to your scheduling information. They will also prepare reports and statistics so you can see who's opening your email. So when you hear those people say, I never get any email from you, and you know they're on your list, you can go back to the report and say, well, they're not opening the email. So that way you can contact them and say, you know, you are on my email address and you did mention you weren't receiving your email. Let's verify your email account, please. And then you can verify the email account, and then sometimes maybe you had a typographical error in there, and it could be a correct email but not their email, and this way you get an opportunity to correct that email address. So far we've talked about website hosting, the ability to actually get free website templates. We've talked about hosting companies that will cost you anywhere from free to maybe $12 a year. If you are paying more than $15 or $20 a year for website hosting, you are paying too much. So you need to rethink that, unless you have lots of bells or whistles and you're selling a whole lot of product. But if you're a small business, if you're paying more than that, you are paying too much. And we talked about collecting of the email and actually getting permission to email your clients. If you're having trouble thinking about, well, what should my email say? Here again, look through the emails you receive. and see what they say. Which ones are you most interested in? And if those are the ones that get your attention in your field, then you can do an email that's sort of a mimic of what they do. So there's always a hello, there's always a thank you, there's always a call to action, because when you send emails, you need to tell the people what you want them to do. Do you want them to open a link, click a link and read your blog? Do you want them to go somewhere and look at something else? Do you want them to purchase something? You have to give them a call to action. If you've noticed, every email you have received has asked you to do something. You have to ask. Don't assume people know what to do. And if you send them an email without a call to action, they just think, oh, that was a nice email. But you're not sending email because you're just a nice person, which you are a nice person, but you're sending an email because you need them to do something. Now, I want you to take a few minutes and we're going to go on a quick break. And this will allow you to have an opportunity to read what you've just written or just go over in your mind what you've just heard and to formulate your questions. So sit still, we'll be right back.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Using Powtoon.
Welcome back to A Sip of Inspiration. Again, I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. And for those of you who are tempted to call me, hi, Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, I just thought I needed to say, hey, Stephanie will get you anything you want. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping right now, which we didn't do at the beginning of the set. So if you have questions, you can send them to my email address. And I usually let's use a simple one, Inspire, N-S-P-I-R-E, at champagneconnection.com. So you can send an email there. I do have a Facebook account. You can find Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor, on Facebook, and feel free to post your questions there, and I will respond to you specifically about those questions. And you can go to the asipofinspiration.com website. Now, on the asipofinspiration.com website, this show will be added to that website, as well as you will also find other shows where we talked about money matters. I talk a lot about not only the mechanics and the how-tos to accomplish your dreams, but a lot about the emotions and the behaviors, because generally we don't fail because we don't know how. We fail because we don't think we know how to do it. So now, the second part of this is, now that you've gotten your content and you're sending emails out, Social media is incredibly popular, and some social media sites work better than other social media sites. There are over 50 various social media sites out there. I interact regularly with about 10 of them and infrequently with about 18 of them. So when you're looking at social media sites, go to the site, sign up, and look to see what the conversation thread is on that site. Make sure those social media sites are a good fit for what you do. And if they're not a good fit for what you do, then don't join that site. So everyone is talking about how wonderful Facebook is, but LinkedIn is also wonderful too. YouTube is actually great. It is the latest thing going as far as Facebook conversions. And then there's Pinterest and there's Instagram and oh God, there's Tumblr, which is one of my favorite. There are a lot of social media content out there, and everyone hears, at least I do, is God, you got to post to social media. You got to post to social media. But as a solopreneur, you're writing email, you're maintaining your website, and you're doing some marketing through email. So you're probably wondering, how do I handle the social media? Now, social media that is organically posted, and when I say organically posted, I mean that's where you actually go into the social media account and post it yourself. Those will increase your search engine optimization faster and quicker than having an automated post. Now, search engine optimization just means when you type in the name of your company and hit search, where do they find you? How many pages in are you? And you want to be on the first 2 or 3 pages, and the way to get that is either to constantly post or send a lot of email, or constantly post a lot of contact, or do social media. So you can post your email directly into the social media accounts that you use, and I'm only using Facebook social media, or Tumblr, or Instagram, or LinkedIn, because that's what most people do, but there are a lot of others. So if you post them directly, of course it raises your ratings quickly into the search engines. However, if you automate that posting, you can post more regularly. You can post to 3 social media accounts. And if you're posting more regularly, that will also raise your placement in the search engine optimization. And how do you do that? There are free tools that allow you to post to more than one social media account. One of my favorites is Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a social media automation tool that will post to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter for you. So you post it once, you can add JPEGs, videos to that also, and you can schedule it also. So if you want to schedule a post to post every day, you can schedule it to post every day at a certain time, and it will actually post it for you. Or you can go in and set up all of your postings a month at a time, and then it will post it for you automatically. As a solopreneur, that saves you time, and that is actually no cost to you. So with that $100 that you have, we've only spent 12, maybe 20 at the most, so you still have at least $80 left to spend. So now, and what do you post? You post, depending on your business and depending on what your product is, you can post why someone should use your product. What's the benefit of your product? So if it's a vitamin, or I know we see a lot about vitamins and wellness products. So you can post the benefit of the wellness product. You can post the benefit of the hair product. You can post the benefit of whatever it is you do, and you can post those separately. And you do want to use catchy headlines. So where do I find catchy headlines? Because some of us are saying, I don't have a creative bone in my body. Well, there are a lot, when I say a lot, there are a lot of people who are very good at copywriting, who are posting a lot of free information about writing good copy. You can find it all over the internet, the best, most potent headlines, the best questions that are trending now. And then there are also other websites that you can go into and put your topic in and to see what's trending on Facebook, what's trending on Twitter, what's trending in Instagram or Pinterest. And then you can know if people are interested in it. So that's how you get there. So you just mold or take those headlines that you see, the ones that you like, the ones that make you click. What did they say? So you can transform those to fit what you are doing. So maybe it's not the quickest way to lose 100 pounds. Maybe it's the quickest way to stop your hair from thinning. Maybe it's the quickest way to get rid of hot flashes. Maybe it's the quickest way to have a successful date. Those are just ideas. So you see, it's all the same basic premise, but what you've done is you have modified it to fit your product. Now, as you send these headlines out, remember that email account, which is either a MailChimp or Constant Contact or something like that, but it needs to be the free one because we only have $100, is that they have reports and analytics. And you can see how many people opened it. You can see how many times they opened it. You can see if they clicked on something that's in there. So when you send your email and you say, go to my blog, which we're going to talk about next, then you'll see if they clicked on that blog. And that will give you those reports. And you can also add for free to your website Google Analytics. And when you add that to your website, you can see who clicked on it, what countries they were in, what cities they were in, how long they stayed, and what they did while they were on your website. And that is valuable information. That information is so valuable that it will let you know, do you need to continue to market to certain people, or is your product more interesting to people who are in a certain segment of the population? So maybe they don't have thinning hair in Florida. Maybe they only have thinning hair in Illinois, and then you can limit your marketing to people in Illinois who have thinning hair. Now, I'm not saying that they do, but that's just an example. Now, I mentioned on the emails that you send, they need to have something to do. So we talked about the call of action in the first segment. The next thing we need to talk about is a blog. Everyone has a blog. And a blog is just a place you write something, some information or a story or a column about something you feel strongly about. And there are several ways and several places you can write a blog. Now, you can write a blog on a free space. There are several free spaces. One of the most popular free spaces for blog is blogger.com, which is a Google product, and you write a blog. So for instance, let's say 5 ways to tone your abs in 20 days, okay? And you write a column about that. Doesn't have to be long, but it needs to be a column. So you want to try to write 4 to 6 paragraphs about how to do that. And if you don't write 4 to 6 paragraphs, that's fine, but you're going to include some cool graphics. And there are a lot of places to get free graphics. If you search on the internet, it'll show you free graphics. Microsoft even has free clip art, and you can use some free clip art. So you're going to add graphics to those places. There are a ton of places for that. So you're going to add graphics to it, make it interesting, and on the blog, and then you're going to add a link to your blog inside your email. So they're clicking on your blog. You're going to add that into your social media spaces. They're clicking on that in your social media sites. So all of a sudden, what's happening to your search engine optimization placement? It is rising. And as it rises, suddenly you are on the first page. You are on the second page. And then when you search it, there's some little information at the top of the search bar that has seconds, and no one ever really knows what that means, but when you search, it may tell you something like, oh, you're number 3 in 500 million. Means 500 million searched for something with those words in it. So if those 500 million people search for something with those words, they're looking for you. A lot of information. We're going to take another quick break so that you can take a deep breath and catch up with me, because this is exciting. We still got to spend those $80.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to A Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor, and I've just heard that I've got some questions, so I'm going to open up my handy-dandy email and let it catch up with me, and we will go to those questions. Later on during the show, we're going to roll in some information from some of the experts that I really like. There are a lot of YouTubes on $100 startups, how to market for free, and content marketing. And since I'm so passionate about it, I will make sure that I put some of those in the show so that you can get those. So give me just a half a second. Y'all know that I'm always trying to use my technology in here, and sometimes and I'm talking about marketing, right? So while we're waiting for that to come up, I will continue with the $80 that you now have in your pocket. So when you start that blog, if you can, like I said, you can use Blogger, which is popular. You can also, if you have a column, you can turn that into, go to ezines.com, which is free. You're allowed to do a column a month, and you can do about 10 or 12 for free. So then they have Facebook, Twitter, and some of the other icons also. And you can activate those, and then when that column posts, it will post into your Facebook also. So all of a sudden, here again, people are beginning to know who you are, and your product is getting told. Now, we talked about graphics because you do need pictures. We live in a world of pictures today. And as we live in this world of pictures, graphics are very important. I glazed over Microsoft Clip Art, but Microsoft Word has free clip art. You can get a free design. You can enter even canva.com for free, and they have free graphics, and they have free things that you can create and quote cards. Quizio.com, you can make free quote cards. All of these are free. So now you can do a column, you can do a blog, you can post to Facebook, you can get graphics, you can create your own messages for free and your own quote cards for free. So we are working it, and right now you haven't spent but $20. Now let's say you need some design and you just have a little bit of money left, right? There are websites that you can go out and hire graphics for $5, for $25. I would do the $5 package actually if I were you, and I would do that $5 package, and then you can also modify what you get to meet your needs. So now you're up to $25. Another thing is that column you wrote, if you take your handy dandy little mobile telephone, you can shoot a video of you reading that column. And then that now is a podcast. Now you can either do an audio podcast or video podcast. That's up to you to decide which one works best for you. You can do it on Facebook Live. You can do it, I think Twitter has a live now, Periscope, and they are absolutely no cost. So if you do a good job live, then that's what you want to do. As I mentioned earlier, YouTube is the new hot thing. So if you record yourself reading your column, it's that simple, then you can upload that to YouTube, and people can actually get to see you on YouTube and share it with actually share it on YouTube. So now we have got you out there in the front marketing. Now, the next thing you want to do from there is you can take that piece of content and you can create an ebook. You can create a course. You can do a webinar. And there are free webinar sites. You can do daily phone calls, and there are free sources for daily phone calls. So it doesn't matter if you only have 20, 30 people so far, or 200 people. That's actually enough people, and if you're engaging them, then they will tell their friends, and you will find your list growing faster than you can imagine. If your post is specific to an industry, so we talked about thinning hair, you can post it to the beauty industry. You can go on their Facebook post. You can go into their groups, join their groups, and post your information there. If there are other relevant groups, you can do that. There are meetups, and you could maybe join those meetups, and you can post your information on their website. And you can use Instagram video. I forgot to mention that. That's at no cost. And then you just rinse and repeat. So what you did was you wrote something, you videoed yourself with it, you did an audio, you posted the audio, you posted the video. So you've got a podcast, you've posted it to YouTube, you've got a podcast. Then you're going to put that into your email and you're going to send that out to people. So now you let people know that it's out there, and you're going to have an ebook or class, and now you've taught it. And now you start all over doing the process. So one of the questions I have is, now that I have $100, how do I know what business is right for me? Now that goes back to a much different topic. So we're always told, and we've always been taught for years, and I teach a little bit of this, is to follow your passion. And then the question becomes, what's my passion? Because people don't tend to know what their passion is. And the reason you don't tend to know what your passion is because you're busy doing your passion, and you don't think about it as a passion, you think about it as what you do. So, what are you good at? What do you do easily? And even if it tends to be difficult, what do you do and you love it and others find it difficult? So, do you love handling people's finances, balancing their budgets, doing their bookkeeping work? Some people fear that, but there are those of you who absolutely love it. You live for that. Then that's a business choice. That's something that you can turn into a business. Are there habits or hobbies that you have that just make your world light up? Then that's a possible business for you. What's your education? What's your skill? Because there's some things that you might like to do that you cannot do unless you are certified, I wouldn't advise you to dispense medical information unless you're a doctor. There's serious consequences with that. But let's say that you actually like to write. Then there are a lot of people who need content for their websites, for their columns, because a lot of what you see being published isn't written by that person who is publishing it. They actually had someone write the content for them, and then they modified it so it would fit their voice. And the other thing is, ask your friends what you're good with. Just say, hey, what is it I'm good at? And they will tell you. So that's your first thing. The other thing is, what do you do for free? Because that will give you some insight on what you should do as a business. And the other thing is, what skill or knowledge do you have that could bring value and service to others? Some people are good with websites. Some people are good with budgets and money. Some people are good with cooking meals under 30 minutes, and those would bring a great service to others. So those are the questions to ask yourself, and those are the answers. And when you come up with those answers, that will lead you to the right field. Now, once you come up with that answer, go out to the search engine and search and see who's doing that. You'll find that a lot of people are already doing that. And if a lot of people are already doing it, then you should be doing it too. Now, do you like animals? So maybe you could do a animal sitting or animal walking business. A lot of people have animals. As a matter of fact, it is a billion-dollar industry. So maybe you could do something that would fit into that part. Now, we have spent now maybe 25 of your dollars. You have $75 now left over. So another thing that you can do is to look for opportunities to be featured in the media. So a lot of times, media people are looking for things to report on. So you need to do press releases. There are free press release places and websites. PRlog.com is app. They have a free supported version for a press release. So do a press release about everything that you're doing. I have found that in those press releases, you will be surprised at what media outlets will pick them up. Also, there are other press releases out there for you to review. So you tap into those in your industry and read those and see what you like. And then maybe that'll give you an idea as to how to structure your press release. But all of that can be done for free. And those quote cards that we talked about that you could create for free, those images that you can create for free, you can upload that to that press release so that they show in that press release. You can also upload those to Facebook, and they're fantastic for Instagram and Pinterest so that people can hear from you and see you in picture form. Also, you can republish your post on Medium, which is another website, which is free. And it's sort of a way of taking your website, your information, and just getting it to a different audience, because there are different audiences on Medium than there are in Facebook. And if go through Quora.com. Quora has a lot of questions out there. And if you know the answer to any of those questions, post your answers to those questions. And that's a way to get people into your business, into your social media, into buying your products, and into your purchases. So now, I have another question up. I am digging it out of email now. And the email gods don't like me much today, but that's okay. Am I too old to start? No, you're never too old to start to love to do what you do. As a matter of fact, even if you're working full time, or even you have another business, I'm a firm believer that you need to have several streams of income. And this is a way for you to develop streams of income. Especially if you're employed, you have a certain skill that you've been using for years for your employer, and your employer has been profiting off of that skill. So now you need to figure out how to take that very skill and use it for the general public yourself, so that you can profit off of that skill, so that you can do what you love. You'll find that once you start to do that, you'll be able to do more with those skills. You'll even develop more skills and learn more about how to do what you do bigger, faster, and easier. And that'll make you much more valuable in the private space than it is working for someone else. So at least when you retire, you will have something to do that is profitable. And a lot of these businesses, if you do this, follow this guidance, you can do these part-time, you can do them in the evening, you can spend Saturday and Sunday doing them, and they don't have to interfere with your full-time job. I am a firm believer that you keep your full-time job until your part-time job starts to pay you what it is you make on your full-time job, because you don't want to be looking at how you're going to pay rent. Now, I want to thank you very much for this section, for sticking with me on this section. We're going to take a break, and I want to give you an opportunity to see what some of the masters in marketing have to say about this. And these are people that I listen to all the time.
Mark Cuban's 12 Rules for Startup. Billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban has added to the list of rules for starting your own business. Mark's rules aren't just for company founders, but for those who are considering going to work for them as well. 1. Don't start a company unless it's an obsession or something you love. 2. If you have an exit strategy, it's not an obsession. 3. Hire people who you think will love working there. 4. Sales will cure all. Know how your company will make money and how you will actually make sales. 5. Know your core competencies and focus on being great at them. Pay up for people in your core competencies. Get the best. 6. An espresso machine? Are you kidding me? Coffee is for closers. There are 24 hours in a day, and if people like their jobs, they'll find ways to use as much of it as possible to do their jobs. 7. No private offices. Open office spaces keep everyone in tune with what's going on and keep the energy up. 8. As far as technology, go with what you know. If you know Apple, use it. If you know Vista, ask yourself why, then use it. And let your people use what they know. 9. Keep the organization flat. If you have managers reporting to managers in a startup, you will fail. 10. Never buy swag. A sure sign of failure for a startup is when someone sends out logo-embroidered polo shirts. 11. Never hire a PR firm. Whenever you see information related to your field, get the email of the person publishing it and send them a message introducing yourself and the company. They'll welcome hearing from the founder instead of some PR flack. And number 12, make the job fun for employees. Keep a pulse on the stress levels and accomplishments of your people and reward them. In Mark's first company, Micro Solutions, when they had a record sales month, he would walk around handing out $100 bills to salespeople. That's a motivator.
When it comes to starting a business, you might think that it takes tons of money. But according to blogger and entrepreneur Chris Guillebeau, you can go from idea to startup in less than a month, and it could cost as little as $100. He's author of the new book, The $100 Startup. Reinvent the way you make a living, do what you love, and create a new future.
All the entrepreneurs that we profiled in the $100 Startup, we talked with more than 1,500 people from all over the world, and for the most part, all of them did follow a passion, but they found a way to connect that passion with something that's valuable, with something that's marketable and desired in the marketplace. So focusing relentlessly on that question of convergence, between your passion and what other people are also passionate about, that's really the key. I love to travel, for example, but no one wants to pay me to travel the world. Once I learned to teach people about travel, once I helped other people travel, that's how I was able to create a business. And so the same is true with cupcakes or anything. So anything you can do to kind of reinforce the purchase, anything you can do to kind of emotionally validate the customer, if you can send a handwritten thank you card, if you can make a phone call, if you can offer a discount on an additional service, whatever you can do to over-deliver, it just creates a lot of reassurance. It's also a great business strategy. An offer has a lot of different characteristics. It includes the price point, it includes the primary benefit, maybe the secondary benefit, an invitation, but I think the most important characteristic of a really good offer is urgency. The most important characteristic is, why should people take action now? Like, I can look at this and it looks great, but why should I buy it now? So if you can really answer that question of urgency, if you can provide something that's, limited time, or people who buy now get an additional bonus, or the benefits kind of decrease over time, so you want to buy now, the more you can answer the question of urgency, the better the offer will be. Most frequent question I get over and over is, I have all these different ideas, I don't know which one to pick. So I used to have this long convoluted answer, and now I just say, pick one. Just take one of these ideas. Don't spend a year writing a business plan that no one's going to read. Don't spend, all your life in analysis. Pick one of these ideas, get it to market within 30 days, put up the website, however basic it is, put a PayPal button on it, and see what happens.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, and welcome back to A Sip of Inspiration, where we're talking about marketing your business for $100. And we've left you $75 so far. Now, this is a huge topic, so we're about running out of time, and at the end of the show, I want to cover some questions that I received. But don't spend that $75, because we still need to talk about, during the next segment, business cards and other marketing material that you will use that will spend some of that $75 that you have left. But in the meantime, I've given you plenty of ideas for you to get started. We have a question about how important is location. Location is only important if it's some business idea that depends upon walk-up location. So if it's, or walk-up people, so if it's a restaurant, then of course location is important. Maybe a hair salon, not so much, because you already have clientele and you're not necessarily dependent upon walk-up customers. But if you need walk-up customers, it's important. Other than that, living in a hub zone area would probably benefit some certifications that you could get that would help greatly your business in getting a lot of other kinds of contracts with businesses. So that we can talk about in the next show also. And it's the next thing is ideas. How do I get my ideas put down on paper? There are organizations such as SCORE, Women's Business Development Centers, and a lot of economic development foundations in various cities who have a staff of people who do nothing but listen to you, talk to you about your idea, and work with you to get that idea down on paper. Getting on paper is very important because there are two things you're also going to need, which would be a marketing plan and a financial plan that will help you get that on paper. So those are incredibly important. But when you go to make your appointment with SCORE or Women's Business Development Center or even Economic Development Center, they are free, but they're funded. So be sure you're prepared so that you're not wasting their time. Also, we left off with content marketing, and some of my experts talked about content marketing. You can get free templates for content on HubSpot.com as well as Copyblogger. You sign up to those websites, they will give you lots of free templates, infographic templates, quote card templates, ebook templates. You will have so many templates that you will not know how to use them all or when to use them all. And to go back, I had a question about where could you host podcasts that would get maximum coverage, and one of the places that's being used now is Podbean. You can do 10 podcasts for free, and it is easily accessible to people who use iTunes as well as people who use the Google Play Store. So you're not limited as to who can look at your podcast or who can subscribe to your podcast. So those are the questions there. You can go to my website. I do talk a little bit more about passion so that you can get an idea about some of the questions that we talk about. So today I promised you that we would talk about marketing your business for under $100 and ideas that would help fit into the life of a solopreneur as well as a small business. Hopefully we have done that. So with that, this will end part 1, and we'll come back with part 2 so that we can talk more about how to work with the organizations and who they are and how to find them. That helps you get your ideas into a marketing plan, into a business plan, and into a financial plan. Until then, I want you to be inspired. Until further notice, celebrate everything. Do not go gently into that good night. I want you to find a heel worth dying for and take that heel. And I want you to know that you are the miracle and the person that you have been waiting for. Go forth today and make it so awesome that yesterday gets jealous. This has been a Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor, and it has truly been a pleasure.
Life's too short to drink cheap champagne, so I decided to buy me a better brand.